What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. What we're going to do here is pretty much take a look at the NASDAQ and a bunch of other random stuff here today to hopefully make sense of the market, which we're never really going to be able to do fully. So as you can see, we didn't go all the way down to 312. 312 was a recommendation that I had from yesterday in the past couple days. If in the event we successfully broke down this price point of 318. So I said if we successfully break 318, then we could see prices all the way down to 312. Well, we broke 318 yesterday, but the market wasn't strong enough to sell down, and we've gotten sucked up just below the 318, and now we're back over 318. So that's kind of bullish. So nonetheless, we did recommend that the prices of 318 to 312 was going to be the dip buy zone in this market. So ideally, you should just basically be looking at starting to be more long bias the market. So since we got down to 318, this whole zone's kind of a dip buy area. So for right now, I really do see that the markets are probably right around the corner from trying to bounce. We've sold off for pretty much 2 weeks now, and we're very close to the daily chart long-term support. We're already on flirting around the 4-hour chart support. So realistically, probably makes the most sense to start watching the market long bias since we've come into the trend support. And then if you just look left at the chart, and put a couple horizontal price levels, you're going to see that ideally, you're right back into the whole breakout zone, the bull flag, and this rip from the last time. So you can see all this previous buying that happened and where the market got supported last time is now all the same price points as these current standard deviation trends. So the best way I can explain it is back when the market bounced here, it's because it was bouncing on trend deviation support, okay? And then this price action that ends up occurring creates the new statistical trend, which then puts it here, and then that's why we support it here. So it's not necessarily people bought it back here and these candles look this way and that's why it bounces here. It's more or less because a bunch of people started buying it off the trends that used to be here. There is now accumulated a statistical, probability that these trends should bounce about here. So it's really the trend lines doing the work for the most part. So we're going to stay more or less long bias on today's market and going into the next couple days as we either drop closer to 312 or continue to move higher off this 318. We know inflation's here. That's not good. Things are just not good in that regard. There is one stock that we got to point out here this morning, which is HRTX. HRTX was a big jumper, jumped to the upside. I did a little short trade on it, only made like 20 bucks, which I think puts me up like $2 on the day. Hell yeah, up $3 today. Pfft, Lego, baby. You could buy like a Twix, maybe. And after Biden's out, probably can't even buy a Twix with $2. Let's keep printing that money, Mr. Powell. So we do have inflation. That is happening. So prices are going to continue getting higher. In recent news, good old Elon Musk said that he is not going to be accepting Bitcoin payments anymore, and Bitcoin dropped again. So we'll take a look at that chart, give you guys an update on Bitcoin. So HRTX was one stock that we did a little small trade on earlier today. It was a small short trade on this top. I think this is just going to continue fading out and really not be that great of a long bias trading day for this stock. I feel like it's just going to kind of trade like kind of garbage and more or less down. I think we're going to see this move retrace a little bit. So this is a stock that we're probably going to watch for maybe some shorting activity. And realistically, the prices for it aren't even that great. I mean, we're kind of already on support, I think, or close to. So yeah. For now on the short, we should only really be looking down to like 1943, and then for a new short, we'd have to successfully decide that there is still weakness on HRTX when it gets down to 1946. So for right now, just kind of on like standby with that one. There wasn't really any penny stocks that jumped this morning. Oh, other than PLLI. Wasn't that one PLLI? Yeah, so this was a penny stock that jumped this morning. I actually wanted to short it at 755. You can see that red line there. I put it 755. That was my short target, 755 to like 762. and then it stopped at 742, which to me was kind of a surprise because I couldn't make sense of it, but sometimes that happens. So this stock was one I was going to be bearish on, but couldn't be because we didn't hit the target I wanted. So maybe this gives you some decent trading activity today. The only thing that I had planned to do was a short trade on it. So I haven't built a long thesis. So the long thesis on this would be maybe a dip down to 604 and then it jumps. Or, I mean, maybe, but probably not. Come on, come on. Let's go, let's go. Come on, baby. There we go. All right, so yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be the long play. Maybe it is, but if it's going to happen, you know, maybe it happens in like 580 to 598. There is a little support level here at 629 that so far it's kind of holding. So wherever there's some buying, you know, track that one. But I think we might even get a little bounce off 628. But for now, I'm probably not going to do too much on PLLI. All right, now let's go take a peek at Bitcoin, because if you are any sort of a trader on MARA or RIA, you know that you're not having the greatest morning because those stocks tanked. All right, so Bitcoin rolls over, breaks down. Elon Musk says that he's no longer going to be accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. So that just because of that. And not only that, I mean, this has been getting ever more bearish for some time. If you looked at like a 20-year chart, you'll see that we came up to 3 deviations. So in the 20-year chart, this thing was overbought. We had pretty much been recommending that Bitcoin would start seeing selling pressure back when it hit 56 here for the first time. That's when we said we'd start seeing selling pressure. And it took, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks to really start to roll over. So Bitcoin held that top in that area for a long time. You know, even confused me to think it might have been going higher at one point. But overall, the selling pressure did come in and it did get stopped. And if you were to look at the volume on Bitcoin, you know, on this 20-year weekly chart, you know, we had the high here, or not the high, but volume high here. And then ever since, it turned into selling, and then buyers couldn't beat those sellers, and then we had new buyer beats here that beat all the green buying here, and then these buyers came in, and these sellers beat them. So if you look, the waves of selling volume have been higher than the preceding green volume for some time now, which signals bearishness too. So it's not really just Elon Musk that's causing the move down. Just in general, Bitcoin had been at some high prices. So for the time being, Bitcoin probably should continue, I don't want to say continue down, because people are going to buy this little dip here because of previous price action support. But in reality, I mean, we already kind of dropped close, but I wanted to get it down to here. So that's kind of where I would like to dip buy, because it's a little more low risk, but, you know, people are already dip buying Bitcoin to try to push this back up off this bounce. So, you know, with this bounce here, if you're long biased Bitcoin, really only expect to retrace 50% of this drop. So if you take a look just do a simple Fibonacci, which just really isn't even that crazy. You know, really only expect this bounce to probably come up to about 52,267 to, you know, 53,644 in that area. So not really expecting a gigantic bounce out of it, but about a 50% retracement of the drop that you just got. Okay. Really, other than that and BABA, I haven't really thought of too much more today. So BABA reported earnings. They went down pretty heavy. We were pretty much going to be watching BABA long to support the previous dip from a couple days ago. You can see this drop. We've already been supporting it and bouncing it. If we're going to go lower, we were only really going to look to see if it went down to about 210 to 209, and then, you know, more or less for a bounce. So today's watch list really isn't that great. Not a ton of things that I had really thought about this morning. The last thing that I'll leave you with is, if in the event the market has a really good trading day and very bullish, then ideally all the other stocks in the market are going to trade really well. So far, the markets look good here. It looks like things are going well. But again, if in the event markets continue to have a roaring bullish day, we should see that continue over in things like Tesla and Facebook and so on and so forth, Neo, etc., etc. So we'll be long biased stocks for now, as long as the markets are bullish. If in the event the markets turn bearish, then of course we're going to have to be more bearish on stock. So that's all we have for you today. I hope you guys learned something new. Not the craziest watch list. Do appreciate you guys tuning in. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video.